Hi, everybody, and welcome to our second episode of Sense and Pence. I am Sean Michelin, Dietless79 on YouTube, and with me, as always, is Mr. Dave Wade, Lawn Boys Post 1975. And how are you, Dave?
Not bad, not bad. Hungry now. But the people behind the scenes don't need to know that.
Yeah, we're talking about food in the pre-show.
We were just discussing recipes behind the scenes, so now I'm hungry.
I have beans out in the slow cooker, like, right now.
Oh, you wanker.
Yeah, I'm just going with onion and...
Shut up! Shut up! I don't need to hear about food when I don't have any.
Yeah, I just want something simple. It's like 30 degrees plus humidity here, so...
Oh, is it hot there?
Oh, it's humid here. Like yesterday, without the humidity, it was at 30. And it was so humid. Like, my dog's laid down in on my bed because there's a breeze that goes through the room. So she's laid right in the breeze. So she gets because she's part husky. So I have to brush her out every few days because she has that fine undercoat. And so she's in there laid down. And yesterday I cooked, like, I had the toaster oven going. I didn't want the main oven going because that would have killed me. But I made like a donair loaf. And that's just like a loaf of meat.
Oh, again, food? No,
yeah.
Sorry.
But I mean, like, I was cooking that, and then I was making pitas on the stove and that, and so, like, there was heat going today. I was like, no, not happening. The hottest things going today are the coffee perker and the slow cooker.
Right. It's I hate. Right, obviously I have to sleep during the daytime, so I'm that bloke who watches the weather report in the morning religiously. And when you get that annoying little cow just goes like, "Good news, everyone! It's going to be really hot today." I can actually feel myself raising my finger right now, and she's not even here. Just like, good news for who? Huh. I have to sleep during this. You shit bag. I watch the news religiously every morning and just think like, please be cold, please be cold, please be cold, please be cold.
Yeah, I like the heat at points in the summer, but like I don't have central air. I don't have aircon or anything. The closest I have is I have
a big fan over my bed that I put a bucket of ice in front of every night.
Well, what I have is I have an HRV, heat reclamation ventilation, and it has a summer setting, so it doesn't reclaim the heat. It just tries to suck the air.
You live in Canada and you don't have
aircon. No, that was going to be an investment of mine, but because I'm on unemployment at the moment, it got put to the wayside. They're not expensive. Next summer now I'll have one installed, and it's going to be put in. Like, what my parents do actually is they have a patio door, and like they have a 2-story home, and on the second story where they have their living room, their kitchen area, is because it's only them now. My brother just stays down in the dungeon of the basement. But they have one of those stand-up air conditioners with an intake and an output, and the intakes in the front, the outputs, and so like it'll push out the heat and push the cold out at the same time. So they actually have the vent hose going to a special-made bracket for the window. Dad removes the window off of the patio door and puts in this piece of plexiglass. And in the bedroom beside the kitchen, their room also has one of those air cons that they actually take out the opening window, one of those ones with the arm bar. And they put the bracket in, and the bedroom as well is like about a good 10 degrees when it's like 40 out. Because it gets hotter where my folks are than here. Like, there the other day, it was 32 degrees, it was only 20 here. And they're much further north. But they get Ontario's weather and Quebec's weather. So that's the thing, too.
When I lived in Montreal, and I got invited to not invited, the invitation to the house where I was going to live for 6 months before I had to buy my own, because there was a leeway of the company, and it was me and an Australian bloke, and we both rushed into the house and just ran up, and he ran up and just went, "I bagged the biggest room." I went, "Fine, I'll bag this room." And then I pulled the curtain up and just went, "Hey, fuck you, Ryan. Turns out there's aircon in my room. Have fun with that." And I even in winter, I put the aircon on because I just like being underneath my duvet and being like, I liked a cool room, and that the only thing that kept you warm was your duvet. and he hated me for those 2 months before it got to summer. He's like, "You wanker!" And when, "Oh, fuck you, Ryan, you Aussie bastard! You had a chance to pick this room.
Yeah, exactly. You
I
pass
got
up.
aircon.
Yeah.
It was awesome."
The worst part is though. See, I'm in a quote unquote basement, but it's a half wall, so I'm not really in a basement because I have like pretty much full size windows in my place, and it's just, I do kind of get a little bit roasted sometimes. But I got the HRV on, so it's circulating the air at least, and there's a ceiling fan here in the living room. Sadly enough, in my bedroom, there's no ceiling fan. I had a fan on my ledge that was piping air into the room, but the cat that I have knocked my fan over and broke it. I'm actually going to try to fix it with super glue at some point. Yeah, she's got. See, when there's an open window, like I have screens on my windows because there's an absorbent amount of mosquitoes out by the door and this kind of humidity. I have the window open. She, like right now, the window right to my right of me is open with the screen over, and she lays in the window and she even naps in the window. Like she'll use the curtain as kind of a blanket, and she'll just have herself covered up and just relax and take it all in.
See, the problem where I am right now is because, and it's no secret because I've always mentioned it before in previous videos. My neighbor has a Woody for DIY.
Oh.
He's lived next door to us for like 5 years, and he constantly finds something to bang and hammer and take a fucking Kango out and drill the wall. So my game room, where you see me record videos, that's my game room. But where I do my like Wednesday vlogs, that's my sleeping room, and I sleep there. And I have to sleep there on the other side of the house because he's such a noisy fucker on this side of the house. But the worst thing about it is it's underneath the part of the house because my house is actually 200 years old. But the side of the house that I sleep in is underneath a flat roof, so it just bakes. It just bakes and bakes and bakes, and you can turn a fan on, but all it actually does is just circulate the air. It's almost like being an oven, if that makes sense.
You need one of those window-based air cons.
Yeah, it's just circulating the air and basting me like a fucking turkey.
I'm gonna ruin something else for you. Your house is 200 years old. That means at some point somebody slung full chamber pots out the window.
Yeah, it's got 2 ghosts, by the way. True story, but that's a video for another time. And I don't even believe in ghosts, but we have 2, and I've seen them. So never mind.
I'm afraid no ghost. Our old house had ghosts.
Quickly, slight departure from what I'm about to say, but you can't pay me to see the new Ghostbusters movie.
I saw it with a couple of people. It's not bad, but full disclosure, I didn't pay to see it.
Let you off.
I didn't pay to see it. It's not bad, but there were a lot of spots that could have improved. There's some good conception in it, but it seemed more like it was a Saturday night.
One question.
Yeah.
One question, which is, does it at least feel in vein with the other 2 Ghostbusters movies?
No. Treat this as alternate universe.
Not going to see it then.
No, this is like, you know how the real Ghostbusters is still in line with, like the real Ghostbusters cartoons in line with the Ghostbusters movie. Yeah, I watched the episode actually the other night.
Box set, love them.
Do you like the one in the first season where they go to Hollywood because they're doing a film about the Ghostbusters, and at one point they look at scripts like Venkman, Aykroyd, and Ramis. They sound like lawyers. Sounds like a law firm.
Yeah.
But
also, there's a link that we always have to say, which is if you look at the bloke who played Venkman in the original real Ghostbusters, he was the bloke who also voiced Garfield, and Garfield was voiced by Bill Murray. So I kind of like that little link.
And you know, Bill Murray is the reason why he didn't come back for season 2.
Yeah.
Because he said it was like he sounds too much like Garfield. So they got Dave Coulier, Uncle Joey from Full House, because of his Bill Murray impression.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the guy who voices.
I know they replaced him, but
yeah, it's Dave Coulier. Broke? Yeah, it's Dave Coulier.
Wow.
Yeah, because he could actually make himself sound. He does a decent Bill Murray, but yeah, that's who replaced him. But yeah, the new Ghostbusters movie is more alternate universe, and really the two headliners, the Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, are The ones that I liked were Chris Hemsworth as their receptionist, who's dumb as a post in the movie, and the engineer lady, she's kind of a Deadpool character. She's very random and manic.
When one of them licked the gun.
Oh, her. Yeah. Well, she's kind of like a mix of Deadpool and Wile E. Coyote. Her character really is like outlandish, and she's an engineer, so she makes like outlandish equipment, and how she acts, like, yeah, I like those characters, and the Patty character. They make her out in the commercials to be very street. She's not very street at all in the movie at all. She's very much a civil servant, and when she says, "Oh, I know the city up and down," like, you can tell like she probably did a lot of summer jobs as a tour guide of the city, because she knows all these facts about everywhere in the city. She's a walking almanac. So those I do like. Like I said, I'm not really even a fan of Wiig and McCarthy. Like, the way they are in this is just very much riffs and.
Play the Spectrum game and come back.
Yeah. I might play the Genesis game at some point too as well, because it's pretty decent. The big head one.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's right. Sorry, I had that argument with my friend the other day, which was like, hey, Ghostbusters on the Mega Drive. What one? Well, there's only one, and it's the one when they got really big cartoon heads. So.
Yeah, that one it was made by a Japanese company, I believe. It was one of their release titles, actually.
Do you know what, right? When you get through the first level, and the first level is no like walk in the park, but when you get through the first level and you get to the other stuff, that game gets balls really hard.
Yeah, I'm told it's the platforming in it is an extra challenge to it as well. That they actually do. It actually, like, there's a lot of like it's not very big maps, but what you do in the maps present a unique challenge for a lot of different things. Don't mind me, I'm grinding in Fallout 4 right now. I got just about everything done. Nuka World is the last DLC. It comes out this month coming, and so I'm just like grinding for like unique weapons and little side missions, and I'm looking up on the internet not for playthroughs on how to do things, but like unmarked quests and things like that. But yeah, just like the Ghostbusters 2 game that everybody talks about in the NES, and that when I was growing up, I didn't play that. I didn't play the NES version, but there was a conversion on the Tandy 1000. That was pretty much. It was the Tandy 1000 version is pretty much like the Atari ST version, because the Tandy 1000, although it was a quote unquote DOS computer, the way the sound in the video was, it was about on par with the Atari ST. So because I noticed, like, my cousin had the ST version of the game, and he had an ST. Of course, well, you'd want to if you have the game. And the games are about the same, like the Tandy sound graphics and the ST sound graphics.
The best version of that game is I don't think it got released in North America. It's the Ghostbusters 2 game on the NES, and the
Famicom one where the two blokes going around overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you play tag.
Or somebody did. Yeah, you can buy a
I think there's the
replica.
Game Boy version as well.
Yeah, I think the Game Boy one does it as well. But yeah, that one you're talking about there, with the more or less cartoony style characters in that, and there's 4 of them. Yeah, that was originally for the Famicom, but I think Europe got that one as well. I think you guys got that one as well, because I think the Ghostbusters 2 that we got, you guys got on like computers.
You got that was what I was saying was that was a I don't know why it only came out in
I think it was because of a licensing thing or something. Because separate like the ones that did the
with that level where you had to jump shit.
Oh, jump in the tenements! Oh my god,
that was painful.
Mm. And there's like similar games like that too, but they go by different titles. Like Turtles 4. It's not so much a port, but it's done the same style, but the levels are a bit different. That is Hyperstone Heister, and there's another name for it in Japan, but on the Genesis / Mega Drive.
The Revenge of Shredder?
Yeah.
No, I think is that the Mega Drive version? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Mega Drive version is called Revenge of Shredder, and here in North America on the Genesis it was called the Hyperstone Heist. Because at the end you fight Shredder. Again. But sprites are about the same and everything. It's just the layout's a bit different, and the sound, of course, is a bit different because the sound capabilities on the Mega Drive versus the Super Nintendo. Ben Heck tore down that Sony, the Nintendo PlayStation there the other day because the fellow who has it, they took it over to Hong Kong for some show there, and they tore it apart and that, but I think it got a bit too much travel and it wasn't working quite right, but he took it apart. It is on the level. The only issue is they think the CD laser is burned out, and they got in touch with reached out to some people in the community, and apparently there's a replacement part coming on the way. There's already homebrew out for it because people have tore it apart, like hardware-wise, to determine what hardware is in it. It is literally a Super Nintendo with a CD drive. It's not like the Mega CD, where the Mega CD is additional hardware stacked on top. It has its own like sound and CPU processing and everything. This is literally just a CD add-on for the.
Did I just hear the old bell in your background?
Yeah. Well, it might have been the ambulance because I'm a 5-minute walk from the ambulance stand.
Oh, okay. I'll let you off.
Yeah, but this route here, I'm next to one of the main roads. This city has a separate section. It's considered part of the city as well as a separate community called Curling. I'm in Corner Brook, the city of Corner Brook, but Curling falls under its administration and everything, and is considered for municipal purposes, mayoral and all this stuff. That it is it is part of the city, but some ways, like the people from there consider themselves separate. When the old bill has to go down there, they usually take this stretch because it's easier, because if you take the roadside, it's a lot more congested. The industrial traffic that goes in and out take my stretch there because it goes out into the ring road. But yeah, same thing for like the fire department have to go up to that area. It's also the same route. But yeah, there's one of the two main what do you call it? Ambulance. They're up around there. But yeah, I have my window open and it's plain as day. The sound carries very well. Because I'm only like...
I got my window open as well because it's like... I'm sweating like a child on the set of Jimmy Savile right now.
I like saying I'm sweating like a chicken at Colonel Sanders' house.
But no, we were going to talk about...
Yes.
Yeah, what I put on my Facebook earlier on. I did a stupid tag, and I did it because, well, I believe in it, and I agree with it, which is, anyone else out there absolutely sick and tired of the fact that people lambast, chastise, and take the piss out of those of us who have an investment in the past, and by that I mean retro gaming, because I am sick and tired of people coming up to me and just going like, oh, why don't you look forward? Why do you always look back? Because I enjoy this. Yeah, aren't there better things to do that, like modern computers and stuff like the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4? Like, well, what's wrong with me wanting to, engage old school shit? And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of people telling me like, oh, oh, you got this collection of games from your youth and your. That's just childish shit, and it's. No, it's not. No, it's not. Like, you know, everyone has a hobby. Everyone has a hobby. I don't piss and moan and rip apart people who collect fucking stamps. So, why does everyone have a problem with those of us who collect retro video games? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I mean, it's like those ones that go on about, oh, if you play Pokemon Go, turn in your man
Forza.
card. Yeah, like, some people tear apart Pokemon Go, and, you know, I say to each their own kind of thing. Like, somebody in my life plays it with her friends a fair amount, and they, they're having fun, they're enjoying it. So,
leave them alone.
Yeah, leave them alone. Let them be at it. It's aimed towards adults. It's aimed towards people that grew up with this.
I will say this, by the way, though. When I was downtown today, before I got my tasty and delicious Subway breakfast meal, I did see a bunch of people walking around with their mobile, and people who play Pokemon Go, right? You don't do yourself any favors. Don't hold it up directly in front of your face.
No.
Because holding their mobile phones up directly in front of their face, like, no, you can have this, but you're making yourself an easy target. But no, come back to what I said, and I don't want to contradict myself. I've taken the piss out of people with Pokemon Go, but in fact, I'm going to branch into a different direction, which is, why do people get so virulent about feeling the need to chastise someone else about something that they don't believe in? It's pathetic. I don't walk around downtown. I don't walk up to someone and just go like, you're holding your Pokemon phone up, like, what the fuck are you doing? And then slap them in the face. I don't look at other people, like, oh, clearly you're religious, so you believe in God. I don't chastise them either. It's just, I don't get this feeling or need that people have right now to chastise someone else and poke their finger in their face, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean,
I don't believe in this, therefore you shouldn't believe in this.
Yeah, and it's like I was saying, like, we have a mutual friend, Xander Scully, and he posted about Pokemon Go, and how this is pretty cool and that, and it's something that's cool for our generation. And some girl just comes out, not even on his friends list, comes out of her way to chastise him about, like, oh yeah, well, my boyfriend's playing that, I'd give him a hard time about it, I don't think he should be, and blah blah. And she's like, everybody came down on her like a pack of dogs on a three-legged cat. But yeah, it's like some people like going out of the way dump on it. And I got a friend of mine, my friend Ken, and he kind of does go out of his way to kind of sarcastically dump on things. Just like he's kind of like antsy. He likes getting a rise out of people. And if you know him, he's just trying to get a rise out of you. He's not being serious about it. But even he was saying, he's like, you know what? Nerds are going out, getting fresh air, etc. Whatever. They're going to have fun. And even a guy who usually, and like, he's not into video games or anything like that. He's a tattoo artist and former public health nurse in his 40s.
Right now, though, the big and I kind of to some degree agree with them, which is the obvious rebuttal to the people who have this Pokemon Go thing, which is, and it's happened to me, honest to God, it's happened to me before I lost my car, because I'm in the market for a new car. Hey, by the way, anyone who's got BMW 320 diesel, but I was, before I lost my car, seeing people just walk straight in front of me in my car in the road because they were that obsessed with finding that fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, you kind of like gotta have your wits about you still. I mean, like, there are some people that like play this game and they turn all Mr. Magoo, and you shouldn't really. It's some people joke that it's the natural selection game. Because, like,
I kind of get that, yeah. Survival of the fittest. You dumb bastard, you walk in front of the road in your
Yeah.
car. Then game over, sugar tits. But it is, though.
Yeah, no, like people aren't really focusing on the road or anything like that, and that's you should be like that. You hear about the one falling off a cliff, or you're the one veering into
See, you
traffic.
didn't get it. You didn't get it in your country, right? But the bloke who played Darth Vader, actually did in the UK our original Walk Over
Oh,
the Road.
I've seen those though on YouTube.
Yeah.
He wears that blue
Right.
uniform.
Yeah, and he's like, look left, look right, make sure the road is clear, step forward.
He's got that
was
wonderful
fucking
Cockney
Darth
accent
Vader,
too.
bitch.
Jeremy, no, not Jeremy Bullock. That's the guy who played Boba Fett. Fuck me. Try to remember the name of the guy. I know who you're talking about.
No, actually, Boba Fett was Jeremy.
Yeah, and he provided the voice as well as the physical acting. It was funny too when they did the first Star Wars. James Earl Jones is doing the voice, and he was recording the voice in the same lot as when he was doing Exorcist 2. He was doing both roles at the same time. So I don't know if you've seen Exorcist 2 and you saw the.
I have, and I might be the only person in the world, mainly because I bought it for £1 at Cash Converters. I kind of really enjoyed it.
I saw it late night and ended up downloading it because it was just so
Creepy bit
curious.
when he shagged his own sister, because that's just wrong.
Yeah, but like you remember the outfit that he was wearing, James Earl Jones with the fly head and everything. He literally would book off out of the set and go over to the recording booth, still dressed as that character from Exorcist 2 to record Darth Vader. So he was wearing that outfit he wore in Exorcist 2 while he was recording Darth Vader.
Wow.
Yeah. Who was it? James Rolfe actually picked up on that one. He mentioned it before me in context. But yeah, I know some people dump out all over people for being man children, but in this day and age where we have more of an attachment to our nostalgia.
I honestly don't think we're man children.
No, we're not.
Really don't. I think, we're invested in something that, brings us pride, love, and joy. And when people say like, "Oh, you fucking look at you fucking childish little twat," it's, am I really? Am I really? I don't think I am, because if we break it down and drop down into, going to your neck of the woods and seeing what you love, what you consider, your hobby, I don't see that mine's any different from that.
Well, I mean, you look at it too, like these ones are usually the ones that, they're attached to their teen years, and that's, drinking every weekend and listening to shitty, metal music and still got that same spiked mullet that they've had for the last 30 years.
Well, it's like when I try to explain to people at work who, when they go like, when they find out like, "Oh, you got a YouTube channel." "Oh, that's so sad and that's so pathetic." And I went, why? Why is it? Because if you look at what I do, I've invested a lot of my life and my passion into it. What do? You get pissed out your brains every Saturday night at the pub. Which one of us has the weaker hobby?
Yeah, and that's true too. I mean, somebody did a post weeks ago, and it really comes into making sense. It's like the same ones that dump on people at Pokemon Go and Dungeons and Dragons and everything like that are gearing up for their fantasy football season, and there's no real difference.
Do you know what? Right?
I have nothing against fantasy football, by the way.
Oh no! I get it. I get all those things. And one day when I was around my mate's house, and he was, I just knocked on his door and walked in by accident. He just went like, "Hey, Dave, how you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And I go like, "What are you doing?" He went, "Oh, we're about to play Dungeons and Dragons." And I actually just went, "Oh, you sad twats." And he went, "Really? Well, why don't you come on in and join us?" And I did. And it was the most fun 3 hours I had in my life ever. It was brilliant.
If you like Baldur's Gate, just think about it as being an analog video game. You still create your own character and your stats and everything. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really only really solidly got into playing it in my early 20s. I played a little bit in high school, but that was like the older system. Like I never really got into playing D&D until version 3, and which is still fun.
I don't know versions, but all I remember is this. I played it once when I walked into the house by accident, and then I played it solidly for 6 months after that. We would have Dungeons and Dragons Monday nights, and it wasn't until my work schedule changed that I couldn't do it anymore. But I had a blast. It was brilliant.
Oh, it is. I mean,
And then also you have to remember, like you forget that when you play games like that, the person with the cardboard cutout in front of his face, so the dungeon master, so you can't see what he's doing, has put so much effort into it.
mm, oh, my friend Pat actually, he's been my friend for like 15 years now, pretty much, and he's usually that guy with the cardboard in front of him when we play, and we did a campaign at one point that was about 2 years long, and he would in his spare time, because he was a teacher. He's a teacher in his main occupation, and in his free time and that, he would sit down and tinker with things for the campaign, and even at one point where he brought in characters from other things like Rifts, which is it's a role-playing game, a lot like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's a different company, different concept. It's all future post-apocalyptic and that, and he converted characters and classes from that, so we could integrate that into the game, and just that bit of appreciation that your DM goes to do is like fan service on a very small scale.
Right, he writes the game.
Yeah.
The game is purely based upon, right? It's within the realms of Dungeons and Dragons, but that specific adventure is purely that guy behind the cardboard mask.
You want to hear who one celebrity DM is? Judi Dench. She DMs for her grandchildren.
Ah, awesome. And the fun thing is when I first ran round to this person's house and he became one of my best friends. I was like, when D&D finished, I was like, what else you got? What else you got? And he goes like, oh, people, laugh at me because I say I love board games, and they always think like, I don't know, Connect 4 and stuff like that, and like, that's not board games. And he showed me his collection of board games, and 1/3 of his lounge was nothing but like D&D inspired board games, and I was just like, wow. Touch me, I'm scared.
Yeah, my friend Pat, he's got a lot of the different tabletop role playing games, like besides Dungeons and Dragons, some of the unofficial expansions, that because companies make what they call compatible expansions. They're not licensed or endorsed by Wizards of the Coast /TSR, but like there are other companies made like expansions where they bring in like different.
Then you get the
locales.
two other scary companies, which is the factions that people, which I kind of get, but it's still scary. Which is, some people say like the original Dungeons and Dragons are en route lore. And then when the expansion packs come along, they're like, no, we will fight this. This is not Dungeons and Dragons.
I know, and when they changed over to, I guess you can say version 4, there was a big uproar, and a lot of people that like the 3 and the 3.5 migrated over to what's called Pathfinder, which is like 3.5 light. They took out some of the more slightly cumbersome elements, but it's pretty much it's the same system. And a lot of people that didn't like the new version that they put out, and then they changed it again with version 5. Now it's more like 3, but yeah, there were some people that didn't like the change, and so they kind of migrated. But yeah. And my God, there's so many tabletop games you can play out there now. There's like Vampire the Masquerade, which if wrestling fans are listening out there, the WCW vampire character, I'm trying to remember his name, Gangrel, I think it was. He actually had to use that name under license. He played Vampire the Masquerade, and his character Gangrel is a character from Vampire the Masquerade, and so his wrestling persona was based on a tabletop role-playing character. And, you know, that's how ingrained it is. And then there's, like, riffs. The Fallout series was originally going to be based on GURPS, which is from riffs and from other games in that company's repertoire, but at the last minute the license fell through and they created their own system called Special, which is strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. So literally, like Fallout, the Fallout games are a live action, not live action, but a overhead, and then from 3 onwards, a first and third person role playing game. This is what it is. People are like, oh, I don't like Fallout. Well, I don't like shooters. 3, New Vegas, and 4 are quote unquote shooters, as in they're first person, but you don't have to play them as a shooter. They're a role playing game. Like, you put points into different skills and you do different things and you role play the game. You don't play from point A to point B and do capture the flag or anything. It's a lot different from that.
Slight dispatch from this. Big cartoon of my childhood was the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
I never got to catch that. I had some of the toys, but where I was growing up to, our cable company
it was not in any way related to like the role-playing game. I think there was only one character that, you know, crossed over to the role-playing game. That weird bloke with the metal helmet and 1/3 of his body was also armored. But
oh yeah, he had that blue, the blue helmet and the yellow sword or whatever.
Yes. My brother had Fortress of Fangs, the playset, and that thing was the fucking dog's bollocks. Oh my god, that was so good. But
See,
I love that cartoon.
We never got the cartoon. Like I said, we got the toys, and the toys are actually well built. I had the dwarf, and like on the back of the card, I remember they gave information about the characters and that. And my brother had that guy there. He had like this yellow sword and all this stuff, and the blue helmet and that.
I think as kids we were always really disappointed, at least in my neck of the woods, that we never got, you know, action figures of the characters in that cartoon.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody actually around then when it was out, they actually bought the figures to use as their character in the game. Like some people, like I could see like painting and altering and modifying character. You might hear my dog drinking very loudly right now.
I can hear.
Yeah, she just woke up from her nap. Her and the cat drink out of the same bowl. I had a little stoneware bowl for my cat, and she gave up on it. She just started drinking out of the same bowl as the dog. She's like, you know what? Can't be bothered. Dog stuff looks fine enough. And that's like one evening, and I'd fed her like 2 times that evening, and she was refusing to. She was refusing to eat. You know, not refusing. Sorry, she was refusing to listen to me refuse her food because, you know, she was being a little miss. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. Yeah, and it was like, I'm not feeding you anymore, you little fat shit. You know, you've eaten enough. Like she had 2 full bowls of food, and she ate about half a can of the soft food, and she was like, you know, I was like, no, you're not getting any more food. And she was like, shag you, and she starts eating the dog's food. I'm like, you little... I was like, I'm not feeding you at all. And all of a sudden here's crunch, crunch, crunch. It looks over. I was like, wow, you are a fat little shit. And my computer just restarted itself again. It's a bit warm, so I'm gonna give my computer a rest. What a pillock. The NES we were going to talk about too. We never got to talk about.
Oh, the Mini NES.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Where do you stand on that, good sir?
as somebody who emulates, I do understand. Like, I'm fairly hands-on. Like, I have a Raspberry Pi and I have a hacked Xbox that I hacked myself in that. But from somebody I can see from the average consumer's perspective, like, okay, I can take it, I can plug it in, I can play like 30 games from my childhood that I loved or that I played growing up, or I want to introduce my kids to this, and I don't want to go out and buy a Wii and nickel and dime on the virtual console for $5 and $10 a piece. This is perfect.
It's basically aimed at the middle-aged gamer. It's not aimed at the average gamer. It's not aimed at the casual gamer. It's that bloke somewhere in the middle that wants to have his midlife crisis and just go like, hey, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Something to stick in the man cave.
Yeah. And I can, it's got a massive amount of hate. And I don't agree with it.
Oh, the hate? No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think it has its place. I think... And also, I always say this, which is, if you got such a fucking problem with something, don't buy it. But I think this has its place, which is, it's kind of aimed at, like, the mid to late, like 35 plus audience. Which is, there you get it. There you go. There's the shit you played when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Like, the one thing that does bother me, and it's not about it directly, it is about these little clickbaiters that are trying to jump on and get stuff to their the traffic to their website. Is like, oh, now Sega's firing back with their own Genesis. They've had these out for years. At Games is making them.
Exactly. Thank you. Because, and Xander put a video up about it, which was, and it's true, which is all these things people say like, oh, they're firing back and they're doing this. They've been there for fucking the 90s.
And even before At Games made them, Radica made them. At one point, the company that owned the name Coleco made Master System handhelds under the Coleco banner. Like, you look up on YouTube, it's called the Sega Master System Coleco handheld. And I showed it actually to a couple of people that I know that were fond of the Master System, grew up with it. And it's decent build quality and everything. And you can buy one secondhand for like a tenner. And there are these other ones. Was it MN12 or I don't know whatever happened to the guy? Apparently he's still on the go. He doesn't make videos anymore, but he still responds to comments and that. But he had a couple of the little orange handhelds that they've had out for years, and some of them you could actually use the cartridge. You could actually, besides the built-ins.
No, there's what's it? The plug and play Mega Drive 2000 actually lets you put a cartridge in it.
Yeah, the ones that the consoleized versions, not the handhelds, but the consoleized versions with the controller, that the two controllers that At Games puts out, they're pretty much based on
when I say the Mega Drive 2000, people already jump into the comment section and chastise me. It's there's such a myriad of these systems, and that was the one I had.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, these are all done under license, and Sega was doing stuff, licensing and shopping out the hardware for years. Like the second run of the Game Gear, and what they call the Mega Drive 3 / the Genesis 3, they were made by Radica. They weren't made by Sega. They were made by Radica. Not Radica, Majesco. Majesco made those things. Same thing with like some of the second run cartridges of like, if you bought a quote unquote complete inbox Castlevania 4 or Castlevania Bloodlines or anything like that, and the manual is black and white, or the box was cardboard instead of clamshell for a Genesis / Mega Drive game, it was made by Majesco, and they just bought up all the cartridge stock from Sega, Konami or whoever, and they reproduced them in a second line. And there's some guy that trolls on a group that I belong to who's like, oh, these are repros. In my opinion, these are repros. They're not repros. They're second run. But these At Game systems, the cool thing about them, even though the sound sucks, and there is a fix if you look online, a little bit of soldering, you got to do a couple bodge runs with a couple wires, but they're region free, so you have access to Japanese and North American and European games. Buy one of these, fix the wiring, fix the sound, and you got yourself a little multi-region system. I don't know if EverDrive's working them or not, but At one point, Radica made the handhelds and the plug-in ones. 8-Bit Guy on his channel showed a rundown of a lot of different plug-and-plays, and before he even released it, he showed the fix he had to do for the Genesis plug-and-play. It looks like a little Mega Drive 2/Genesis 2, that Mark II, and it has a single blue controller coming from it, and the only difference is in that controller, besides it being blue, it has a menu button and one other button or something like that, just for ease of use. But he had to remove 2 resistors and run 2 wires around, but the sound is miles better. It doesn't have that overly distorted, like overpowered sound to it. Like if you turn the volume up way too loud and you get that distortion on something. But yeah, they've been making these for like 7-8 years, and before that was Radica. It was another company made them too, Fire Pro or something like that. And there's nothing new. The NES Minis are made by Nintendo. They're made from Nintendo hardware. They even have the Wii/Wii U expansion controller plugins for the controllers. Like the controller comes with it, could work with your Wii.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, you can actually take that, and it comes with one controller. Additional controller is $10 American, or I'd say that's about like 5 or 6 quid your way. Like, and you want to like have like just a regular 2-button NES gamepad for your Wii, you totally can. Footnote to that: My Life in Gaming shows a thing on this adapter you can get for the Wii, and you plug it into the controller, the Wiimote, and allows you to use like Mega Drive and even I think Neo Geo controllers with the Wii. So like your Virtual Console / Homebrew channel stuff, the emulators and that, you can actually use original controllers. And I think the Genesis / Mega Drive adapter will allow you to use Kempston sticks. So if you want to play your specky games on the emulator with Kempston stick, you can. So there's that.
Shall we wrap this up, sir?
Yes, we shall. So yeah, there's a lot of like stuff out there now that really is aimed towards people of our age demographic and our likes, and people piss on everybody about like, well, you're somebody in your 30s and 40s, you shouldn't be concentrating on that. A lot of people now our age, they're not focused on having kids. There are plenty of people out there having. I'm the only member of my family who hasn't had kids. And there's a reason for that. It's not out of selfishness. Each of my siblings has at least 2 to 3. There's more than enough children in my family. I'm, enjoying my life and like.
We like this shit, people.
Yeah.
We like this shit.
Like I don't really have too much of my old school hardware anymore. I don't have my NES or my Super Nintendo. I do have a Game Boy Color, but I mean like. I balance my life with things like that. Like, I'm a tradesman. I've worked in trades and that for years, a fabricator and everything like that. And, for me to be able to enjoy something I enjoyed 20, 30 years ago, it still brings a smile on my face.
That's it. Which is, when people take the piss out of us and, laugh at us, we all have what we have to do to pay the bills. We're adults. We pay our bills, so, leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah, I mean, there are people I know, a friend of mine, he's in his 40s, him and his wife, they, she has children, but they're, adults and grown up and gone off, and, she's into a little bit of what he's into, but, he has a dedicated man cave, he has his, these, shelves going around towards the top of the periphery of his man cave, and they have his action figures, and he subscribed to that Star Trek magazine that came with the little diecast model every month, and he has larger figures, and he has a shelf with all of his DVDs and games and that, and he has a regular job. He's an IT man at the local university, and that he's actually one of the people I do the weekly radio show with, and yeah, a lot of people now are more or less coming out of the closet about didn't want to, admit to it, but this is for ages been something I liked, and, I still like a friend of mine has recently been able to be more comfortable about it, so to speak, and he's been asking me, he's like, I see the Retron 5's out, do you think that's a good idea versus me getting the regular systems? Like, do you have only HD TVs in your house? Yeah, get the Retron 5. If you still have your NES and that, good on you. But if you want to enjoy it in high res and a bit more newer do that, and it's becoming a minority of people that are of the piss in your cornflakes and raining your parade about enjoying things that you liked from your childhood. It's people that are very sad about their own lives. And it's
exactly.
It's really it's.
If you like
though.
it, peeps. If you like it, do it. Have
Yeah.
fun. Everyone else, they can fuck off.
Exactly, and if you like it twice, even better. But I mean, like, yeah, I like video games. I like Star Trek. I like Star Wars. I collect VHS. I'm actually getting a bit of a Bond collection now. I got Dr. No,
Nice.
Thunderball, GoldenEye, and License to Kill so far on VHS now. Try and get all the old Treks. And it's rare as rockin' horse shit over here now, but the old 80s Star Wars. And I had like 2 of them one point in high school, but a friend of mine, his brother borrowed them and never did return them. He left town like 2 weeks later. And it was the old CBS Fox releases.
Oh, God.
Yeah, alright. They weren't clamshell or anything like that. They were always slipcase, but they weren't even the remasters. This was before the remasters. Like those came out in like '97 because I went to the theater to see A New Hope when it came out. And I was thoroughly impressed. I went a couple days after my birthday, and I was thoroughly impressed with it. But yeah, I'm really bummed that I don't have that. But yeah, when I go to a local charity shop here now, and I'll always go to the VHS section first just to see if somebody dropped off something, because sometimes you'll see people just like they might have bought up a lot of tapes from like a convenience store that's going out of business, and they have a lot of the old B and C list movies, and some of those are actually worth picking up and watching. But as well, like you'll get a lot of, like, I got the edition of Star Trek First Contact, and has the lenticular cover where you turn it and it kind of moves. And I got like Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. I've got I still gotta sit down and watch that. I got Flash Gordon.
Oh, I hate you.
Yeah, as in like the one that Ted loves.
Dude, we need to round up.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, and I can go on with nostalgia for ages, but yeah, nostalgia is a great thing, and, keeping in touch with your past is a great thing. Keep your eyes on the future, but don't forget about your past.
Exactly. But there's nothing wrong with having an eye on what you enjoyed about back in the day.
Yeah, that's true. There's no reason why you need to be conscious about what you like. If it's not illegal, and it's not putting you in massive debts to the point where you can't operate from day to day, don't worry about it. All right, well, I guess we are going to wrap up, and I will... I'm just trying to get everything here oriented. This is still all new to me, this new setup that I have. For those of you listening, I have like a TV dinner tray in front of me with my microphone clamped
and
to it.
for those of you listening, by the way, I have to say a massive thank you to Sean for doing all the hard work behind the scenes.
Oh man, once I streamlined this setup, it's actually not nearly as hard. Like, I sat down the next day after we did our first recording, and I just took the WAV file, chucked it on the other computer, cut out the bits of dead air because we had a lot of interruptions due to internet connections and that, and I fixed that up. I sat down, did our graphic. It took me like 5 minutes, and I did it up like that. And our friend over at the Retro Unlimited Network, Steve, and I was able to convert it all to like MP3, and after I took the video file, uploaded the video file to YouTube. And so, yeah, and anybody listening, this is usually available as an MP3 as well, off of the audio section of the Retro Unlimited Network's website. So, yeah, there's that. And thank you very much for listening, by the way. We got some good feedback about our previous episode.
Yeah, I said as well. Thank you for listening to us, because Well, I wouldn't, but awesome. And I can always rotate, nostalgia every day of the week. As Sean can.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. And yeah, we'll be putting out these hopefully once a week, if not bi-weekly, and or is it fortnightly?
Bi-week. No, weekly. Damn it, bitch. Weekly.
Yeah, weekly. Well, it depends on our schedules because in about a month I'm going to be out of town.
Thank you for saying the word schedule correctly, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. But in about a month I'm going to be out of town, but I might do one live. There's a convention I'm going to with people representing the local convention here, which is Atlanticon, and we're going to Avalon Expo. Is another convention. There's about 3 conventions here a year. There's the one here on the West Coast called Avalon Expo. Then there's well, the main one is Sci-Fi on the Rock, because the nickname for the island we're on is the Rock, the Granite Planet, and the one here on the West Coast, that's the last one in the year, is Atlanticon, and we're going to have a couple of cosplayers and returning comic book artists, but for anybody listening, fingers crossed, I'm going to be interviewing Gary Chalk. Gary Chalk is... Ooh. Yeah, if anybody knows that there, he's the second Optimus Prime. Peter Cullen is the main guy doing the voice of Optimus Prime, and he's the voice of Optimus Prime in the movies, but for anybody who watches Beast Wars / BCs, Beast Machines, and a lot of the later run Energon styled series from Hasbro, Gary Chalk is the voice of Optimus Prime, and fingers crossed, and I'm going to try to get him to autograph my copy of Watchmen because he appears as a general on there. Yeah, and to wrap up, I guess here for Friday, July the 29th, a balmy 30 degrees according to Environment Canada. Oh, Betsy Swallock's all over me. Oh, that didn't sound good.
Yeah, it's 26 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's humid.
I need a spatula to pry my balls from one side of my leg to the other.
Apparently, according to some people that are up from Florida for some reunion on the former American base there's about an hour away, they said this is just perfect for them. It's nice and cool and not nearly as humid as Florida.
Wankers. They're all wankers.
Yeah, you won't catch me in Florida this time of year. I'll go in the off season. But, yeah.
Really? Because you can wear your pants up to your neck.
I don't know. Around here in Canada, we have a lawful topless law, so...
No do about it, eh?
No do about it. So, from myself, Sean Michelin, and from Mr. Dave Wade, I bid you all adieu, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Have fun editing this.
Oh, I will. Cheers, all.